Következő előadásunk Eugene Morozovtól lesz hallható. Eugene évek óta részt vesz a konferenciánkon, személyesen el szokott utazni hozzánk. A Cisco hálózati akadémiai rendszer kapcsán az újdonságokról szokott beszélni nekünk, hogy maguk a tananyagok milyen irányban változnak, hogyan fognak változni. Úgyhogy én azt gondolom, hogy most is jó néhány aktualitással fogunk gazdagodni. Úgyhogy Eugene-nak fogom átadni a szót.
Okay, now it should be good. Right, perfect. Sorry for a little bit mess with the microphone. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on this conference. I'm going to do a little bit of update for most of the Networking Academy community, but also for those of you who may be interested about NetAcad. My name is Eugene. I'm the Cisco Networking Academy Technical Manager, and I am part of this wonderful technical team. You can see that my region on the map is green. I am responsible for Central, Eastern Europe, Russia, and CIS countries. And as part of the NetAcad global technical team, I help to provide educational opportunities and professional development opportunities to Networking Academy instructors in our region as well as worldwide. The purpose of this presentation is to really quickly go over some most critical and most important updates around Networking Academy, which just happened recently. We are going to talk about courses, IT Essentials, CyberOps Associate, DevNet Associate, and we will also talk about CCNA 702, very recent update, Packet Tracer 8, and Instructor Professional Development. Let's start with IT Essentials update. It is a very, very good news that the IT Essentials course since December is now available in Hungarian language. Version 7 is the newest and greatest so far version of the IT Essentials course. And now, finally, the full Hungarian version is available, and qualified instructors can start using it. And for those of you who may have a little idea what IT Essentials is about, it is a basic IT profession course. In this course, students learn how to build a computer from hardware components, and also align these components together, how to install operating system, how to configure this operating system, how to connect computer to the network, how to make this connection secure, how to operate with basic equipment like printers, scanners, also mobile devices, phones, and so on. So this is a really great entry-level course for young professionals in the IT industry. And with the new updated version of IT Essentials 7, we have shifted the focus more to assessments. We have introduced more assessments into the course. Now we have topical self-assessments included in the course. We also increased certification level practice, and we have added more assessments throughout the course in general. The course is becoming more practical, more hands-on. It is designed with active learning in mind, with more opportunities to increase mastery with hands-on and experiences, reflection on knowledge that students just get, and collaborative work of students. Course is really becoming more interactive. We have reduced amount of text in the course, and we have increased amount of video and interactive tasks. If we really take a look at the chapter structure and the difference in chapter structure between the previous version of IT Essentials, which is version 6, in version 7, we have a little bit different structure. First of all, the first 3 chapters have their content a little bit arranged differently. Chapter 4 is more or less the same. And then you can see that just down below that, the content which is more hardware related, such as preventive maintenance, also networks, and also for networks, there are 2 chapters. There is 1 chapter for networking concepts. And in chapter 6, students really learn how to apply networking knowledge to real tasks. And also you see that laptops, mobile devices, printers, all these is kind of now is earlier in the course. And after that, the more software things have been moved a little bit down and later in the course progression, with Windows installation in chapter 10 and configuration of Windows operating system in chapter 11. Also continuing with the operating systems topic, chapter 12 covers mobile operating systems like Android and iOS, Linux, and OS X operating systems. And there's also security, and the same chapter, of course, with a little bit updated and improved content on the IT professional behavior. What else is different? There is a new chapter 9 that was included into the IT Essentials 7, and this is virtualization and cloud computing. And chapter 14 was partially removed, or partially this content was distributed across other chapters in the course. Speaking about what is really new in the course, you can quickly scan through this list of new technologies. You can find the things which were just really recently came into the market, and like USB-C, single sign-on, 5G, IoT. So all these things, they are a little bit covered in this course. Of course, this is not about teaching these technologies fully. It is more about just giving students a little bit of idea what these are. And of course, there are also new software technologies covered in the new version of the course, at least a little bit. So that's it for the IT Essentials update. The new course available finally in Hungarian. We are really happy to release that, and we hope you will like the new course. Let's also talk a little bit about the CyberOps Associate course. This is not really very recent release, but I just wanted to make sure we are all on the same page on this offer from Networking Academy. CyberOps is a course that teaches how to be able to see what's going on in your network, right? So cybersecurity analyst is a person who is able to monitor network activity, which relates to their organization. They also need to be able to detect all different kind of threats or attacks which occur in the network, and they also need to be able to respond to these threats. Right. So this is the idea of cybersecurity operations, and this is a full 1 semester course which cannot be taken by students themselves. It can only be taught to them by their instructors. So it is only instructor-led course. And as I said, it's a full semester course, 70 hours, and instructor training for this course is required. Some interesting updates regarding instructor training. We now have 2 options for teachers to become NetAcad instructors for CyberOps Associate. Option 1, as you can see here on the slide, the green pathway. This is a classic instructor training which instructors take in the instructor training center, right? But we have also added another option 2, which we recommend for a little bit more experienced instructors. they can complete the online self-paced training course specifically designed for instructors. And they will need to read through all the course materials, they will need to do all the labs, and they will need to take the practice exam in the end of the course. But this completion of this course will not make individuals instructors yet. There is the accreditation step, which is still required. And there are two ways how this accreditation can be acquired by the individuals. Option 2A, as you see here, it is an ITC proctored final exam. So they could go to the same ITC, and this ITC may offer to them not the full training like in the green pathway, but just the final exam. So they can sit for the final exam and complete final exam and then get accredited this way. And there is also option 2B. After completion of the self-paced instructor training, they can go to the Pearson Certification Center and complete CyberOps Associate Industry Certification. This will also make them instructors for this course. Yeah, so with these two options, I think it's really good that we provide a variety of options for educational professionals to become qualified instructors for CyberOps Associate course and start teaching their students this great course. The next course I wanted to mention is also very new. It is DevNet Associate. And the idea of DevNet Associate course is to really bring some most important and most recent skills and knowledge to NetAcad instructors around the world. And these skills and this knowledge goes mostly around programmability applied to network infrastructure. It is a very big trend. Probably you have heard about this earlier in this conference already, that like infrastructure, and infrastructure, you can think of it as a combination of network and your servers, right? Network plus servers is roughly infrastructure. And this infrastructure requires management. And of course, in the modern world, this infrastructure is pretty complex. And it also is very often hybrid, and it combines both hardware pieces like network devices, router switches, as well as servers, and also virtualized parts of this infrastructure. Because this is so much complex, it is no longer really feasible to configure everything just one device after another through a command line. It is required to automate and make this more operationally efficient. And a great way to do that is to apply some practices from the software development world to the infrastructure management. And DevNet Associate course is just about that, how we can take things like version control, defining infrastructure as code, staging process, and other practices, DevOps practices as well, applied to the infrastructure operational management. It is a full one-semester course of 40 hours. And similarly to CyberOps Associate, this course really requires instructor training as well. In terms of a lab, there is no any requirement for hardware equipment for this course, but we provide 2 virtual machines for students to really study this course easier. One of these virtual machines is the DevNet Associate Lab VM. You can see the screenshot on the right side. And this DevNet Associate Lab VM, it's a Linux machine which combines all the necessary tools for learners to use to complete labs, all the standard labs in DevNet Associate. It includes Python, Postman, Visual Studio Code, special version of Packet Tracer, API simulators, and so on. So if you teach this course, when you do labs as a teacher, you have less headache. You definitely have less headache. You do not need to install all this software on computer, on class computers and maintain it. Everything is already prepared and just packaged inside one small virtual machine, which you can just take, deploy in VirtualBox, and then students can use it. And there is also a second virtual machine, which is a CSR 1000V virtual Cisco router. And this router is used in some of the labs this is a real Cisco product, right? So it's a real virtualized router, which students can use to complete some of the labs where they need to communicate with the network device through an API, application programming interface. And similarly to the CyberOps associate course, or even it is not similar, it is the same. The same instructor training options are available for DevNet Associate. There is option to go through an instructor training center, option 1, or there is also option 2 with online self-paced training, which you can just self-enroll and start studying yourself this material right now, today, with 2 options to actually acquire the qualification. Okay, so this is the same as for CyberOps. And let's also talk a little bit, of course, about the latest and greatest update. This update really came in about 2 weeks ago. We have the new updated version of the CCNA course. Now the version is CCNA 7.02. And we also released a new version Packet Tracer together with this. The main goal, the main intention of these releases is to maintain and to support our Networking Academy vision for distance learning. We want to provide flexibility and choice for teaching and learning in any environment. That can be online environment, on-premise, or combination of these, with optimal quality and effective outcomes. So that's what we think, that's what our vision about distance learning is. We put principles of learning science at the foundation, and we have been doing this always. NetAcad is well positioned to offer distance learning now and in the future. And of course, we keep putting our students and instructors in the center of the attention. So these releases, they come together and they actually support each other. CCNA 702 has a new set of labs or activities which can only be done in Packet Tracer 8. And the new updated Packet Tracer 8 can run these activities and has some additional features to support these activities. I will not have time, unfortunately, to go deep into details of these enhancements in Packet Tracer 8. Biggest part of these enhancements lays around the experience in the wiring closet, where the rack with equipment and servers are. And the new features include shelf. You can see shelf on the right side of the first screenshot, and pegboard. Pegboard you can see just above the table. And these are used to store devices and cables, right? So on the shelf, you can see some set of devices, and on pegboard, you can see some set of cables, which are available to the student when they start doing this activity. In this enhanced physical mode, the ability to add any devices from the selection panel is disabled. So students really must work with what is available in front of them visually, right? So, and they also cannot switch to logical mode. They must stay in the physical mode. And some activities could be, they need to take this equipment from the shelf and mount this equipment into the rack and then select correct cable and use correct cable to connect equipment together. They also need to do cabling to exact port on the equipment. It is also supported to view equipment from the front and from the back. And now cables are dangled. You can see dangling cables on the screenshot between equipment and between different pieces of equipment. And cable management is also supported. Regarding other updates and enhancements, we also improved the wireless network display. Now we have color grid, and we also improved the activity instructions window. As you can see on the right side, now activity can be split in multiple parts and each part can be scrolled separately. And as part of CCNA 702, we have brought in new labs into the course and new activities for Packet Tracer, with the goal of offsetting the gap created by lack of access to physical equipment during the COVID times, and provide support to practice the skills presented in the physical in-person lab experience. Having this in mind, the new version of Packet Tracer is very good to simulate that, but equipment is still required for CCNA. We strongly believe that any simulator can replace physical equipment experience in the lab. So what's new with CCNA 702? As you can see on this screenshot, we have added additional activities next to existing activities, right? In the red box, you see some additional buttons which open the similar network lab activity in Packet Tracer. And these activities are performed in the physical mode of Packet Tracer, where device stacking and racking and stacking is available, switching on device power separately, building from logical topology, cable devices port to port, and other really exciting features, and really experience which is close to the real lab as possible. New physical mode scenarios also include some exploration labs. So on this screenshot in the red box, you see some buttons as part of the course for exploration labs. An idea of exploration labs, they already have a big network there built, and students really need to explore this big network. And these big networks, they typically build with following best practices from the real world. And students have chance to learn how big networks in their real life are built. And here are just a couple of screenshots of a few labs. For example, this is a build switch and router network lab. Students need to grab equipment from the shelf on the right, mount this equipment into the rack on the left, and build a topology, which you can see on the leftmost side in the instructions. And of course, they need to cable equipment together according to the instructions, and then configure all equipment with IP addresses and some other basic configurations to make everything work. This is another example. This is a lab from the second CCNA course, and it is a data center lab. Students here need to explore a really big network, and this is just one of the 2 data centers in this lab. And of course, you have a lot of servers there connected properly with the appropriate infrastructure. And here is one more network security exploration lab. This is just to show that in some of the labs, we also use custom graphics with custom icons and custom backgrounds. And these labs, they really look very nice. And also this is exploration about network security. You can find these labs as a separate set of resources and download the zip file, or you can create a new course with the CCNA 702 version. Of course, in this case, you will have to re-enroll your students into the new course. And finally, let me spend a couple moments to speak about the instructor professional development. Of course, our instructor professional development main project always is Instructor Professional Development Week. We basically put together technical sessions and program update sessions into 1 week, and we make this available to all Networking Academy instructors to learn about technology, about Networking Academy courses, and generally about all the news around NetAcad. For example, we have done a CCNA 702 deep dive special session, which is now available, recorded in the course. And from this session, if you watch the recording, you will learn way more details about this update. And looking at the scenario, actually this week was our most recent IPD week, and we have done so many great sessions here, and you can watch all the recordings using this short link, cs.co/IPD21, and you can also receive the certificate of participation in IPD week, which has number of hours consumed printed on it. So you are most welcome to IPD week. To access, you will need to log into NetAcad and then go to the top menu, resources, instructor professional development, and then just click on the IPD week button on the left. And from here, you will be able to access all these recorded sessions. And when the next IPD week comes, you can also register and then attend live sessions where you can not just listen and watch sessions, but you can also, of course, interact with speakers and ask questions. With that, saying thank you very much for your attention.